Hi, welcome to Living in the Light, and I'm Mary Amy, and I'm coming to you live from New York. And let's have gratitude for this moment. I'm all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your truth potential, and cracking open that beautiful glowing light in your heart. Welcome, welcome to the fifth dimension. Here we are. We are ascending, we are awakening, we are realizing that there is another possible reality out there. We don't have to live in the three-dimensional dense matrix. We can move forward. And how do we do that? We're going to raise our consciousness. We are going to meditate. We're going to have calmness within ourselves. We are going to locate our inner life. And today we're going to cover topics like brain waves. What was the other thing? Brain waves, blah, blah, blah. What else? What else? What else? There's something else we're talking about. Oh, Human Genome Project. And I had kind of flipped back and forth between the sinister plan and the shift. Because when I wrote the sinister plan, that word kind of upset me. So I changed it to the shift, but it's really the sinister plan or plot and what's been going on. How's everyone on September 5th? It is Tuesday in the Matrix. Did you guys have a wonderful weekend? Did you spend time in nature? Did you get out to a body of water? And if you had anything to release, you spoke to the water and sent it out there. And then later on, you felt like there was a little bit of a space within you. And what do you feel in that space? You feel in that space nature and love and hope and good things. That's what we're all doing. Aren't we all here for that? Let me tell you, there's a lot of change going on and it's pretty exciting right now. Okay, so here's my list of 3 things before we get on to our topics today. I want to say, how are you? I want to remind you, you're a beautiful being of light. You are highly advanced. Have you activated your DNA blueprint? And how are you going to do that? You're going to do that by having trust, knowing yourself more, turning inward, having love, acceptance. I'm telling you right now, if you don't love yourself, no one out there in the physical reality is going to love you. Because if you can't even love yourself, who can love you? Think about it. Did you have any dreams lately? Have you been writing them down? Did you purchase a dream journal or just get a piece of paper and write it down? Write down the date. Write down a little synopsis, a little description of what exactly happened in the dream, because there is information in your dreams. There is data that is going to guide you, only you. That's why we don't follow the masses out there in the outer world, in the physical reality, because they're having another destiny. They have other goals. You have yours. So your sleeping dreams will guide you. Maybe there'll be a premonition. Maybe you'll see some kind of timely event that's going to happen to you. You might travel to the astral realm. You might receive light codes. There's so much that can happen while you're sleeping. So write down your dreams, a description, the date, and your emotion. Also, your thoughts are very powerful, aren't they? Because when you wake up in the morning, are your thoughts something positive? Because we can control our thoughts. If you say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this day, what's going to happen? Anything's possible because you can change outcomes. Cause and effect. Our thoughts are that powerful. They carry a charged impulse, feelings and emotions. That's how we can transmit to a receiver, another being, our thoughts. It's called telepathy. We know that from practicing our clear senses. And third, your intention. Your intention is super powerful. It's a commitment to do our best. What is your intention? Now, if you have an intention of, well, I guess I'll do that, obviously the outcome is not going to be marvelous, is it? It's going to be so down here. It's going to be down here. It's not going to be up here. So let's try to have a commitment to do our best when we have alignment, when we are grounded, when we have gratitude, when we're living in this moment. When you live in the moment and you think of what you want, you imagine it right here before you. So let's do that right now before we get on to our first topic. Hey, music, welcome to the fifth dimension. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so right here in this moment, How are we going to get to this moment? How are we going to remind ourselves to be grounded? We're going to imagine our feet, imagine your toes wiggling in the earth. So you're imagining them deeply in the earth's surface. And your root chakra, the base of your spine, that's also going down into the ground wherever you are. Make sure your legs and your arms aren't crossed. And then we're going to remind ourselves here we are in this moment. So how do you do that? You want to get away from looping thoughts. Here's a pillow right here. Elsa's over here. Here's a cup of water. That's what I'm drinking. And then we want to let out a breath. Have gratitude, right? Let go of any tension that we have. And if you choose to, you close your eyes, right? And then in front of us, we are going to imagine whatever it is you want. And I'm going to do it myself because there's something that I really want. And I'm not there yet. It's coming, but I want it sooner. So if I'm in this moment, which is in New York, 6:36 p.m., in this moment, I have gratitude. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing whatever it is, the colors of it, whatever it consists of. Maybe there's people involved. Maybe it's a material thing. Whatever you can see vividly, I want you to really go to it. I'm going to go to mine, whatever it is that you want, that you desire. Let's imagine it right here in this moment, okay? Maybe we can even put light around it to really ensure that we're going to get it. So you imagine a band of light swirling around whatever it is you want. And we have to have positive thoughts. We have to have joy when we think of it, or we're not going to be able to manifest it. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to see it for myself, what I would like. Okay, that's it. We did it. Here we are. Woohoo! All righty. Now, I will mention, and we will do a little psychic phenomenon. I'm going to mention angels as usual. Now, why am I bringing up brainwaves? Well, there's a lot of speculation about what's been going on out there in the physical reality with some of these frequency weapons. And I don't want to say it too much because then they zap me. It happened a couple of times already. I have to be careful. So brainwaves. Here's a little chart. Can you see the little chart? And different brain waves are great in specific circumstances. So brain waves, how we cope with pressure, rationale, irrational thoughts, tasks can alter our balance and induce negative thoughts. So our brain waves matter because our brain waves can actually shift our moods too. I don't know if you realize that. In fact, today when I was at my job in the Matrix, someone was walking around with little iPods in their ears and they would talk on, speak that way. And I said, that's altering your brain waves. And they said, oh, I only do it for a few hours. I don't know if I agree with that. So brainwaves are technically neural oscillations or rhythmic, repetitive patterns of neural activity in the central nervous system. A so-called telepathic vibration supposed to be concerned in the transference of a thought. We've spoken about that. We are passing a thought from someone from us to someone else. You're the sender, they're the receiver, or vice versa. And in the transference of a thought from mind to another by other than a physical means of communication. So the rhythmic fluctuations of voltage between parts of the brain resulting in the flow of an electric current. Now, I'm not a scientist, but I'm sharing this information because you know how I love to go down the rabbit hole, and I do a little research and I'm giving you some. So maybe if you have a takeaway, that's why I have a little bit of a chart here so that you might be a visual learner. You might be, a auditory learner, like verbal, whatever it is. So that's why I share. So we want to have wave balance. There's 5 brain waves. There's delta. Okay, so delta's down here. You can see delta. So delta, high levels while sleeping. So it's 0 hertz to 4 hertz. Okay, and if you are having a good night's sleep and you have delta waves, you have restorative sleep. Now, if it's irregular, then it would be linked to learning difficulties and maintaining awareness. So it's interesting, it can fluctuate between something that's super positive for you and something that's negative, depending on the level of the type of brainwave. So it's deep levels of relaxation. So I guess when we do our meditation, we are operating on delta, deep dreamless sleep. Breathing exercises and binaural beats. I'm going to get into that. Can both affect brainwaves? Yes. I'm going to talk about binaural beats, which is when you can put a headset in your ears and one's operating on one sound and the other is operating on another. And then you can balance it out and you can change your brainwaves. Okay, so that's the delta. The theta right here, it says dreaming, autopilot states, learning. So the theta is 4 hertz to 8 hertz. Now, if this is not interesting to you, you can pop back and we will be talking about the Human Genome Project. So I don't want to bore anyone. I don't know if I'm boring you, but I just want to get into these brain waves because I think it's important. So their higher levels while sleeping is the theta. So maybe it comes as a trance or hypnotic state, and you're able to go under hypnosis when you're operating on theta brain waves. You have an open mindset, feeling, raw, deep emotions, and you improve your creativity, intuition, and natural high levels. It's good for ADH. Now, I feel like when we are doing our work together, our practice, we are maybe operating under theta because we are reaching a deeper consciousness and we are aware. So maybe when we're having lucid dreams, we're operating on theta, and you can daydream. Oh wait, what are you saying here? Alternate nostril breathing. You have so much information, music. I hope you should have a channel. Okay, now alpha, we're getting through this relaxating and recharging is alpha. And the alpha is between consciousness and the subconscious mind. Alpha helps you calm down and promote calmness. It's 8 hertz to 12 hertz. And you know what, I begin to wonder, how does certain music and situations alter our brainwaves? Because when we get into some of these altercations, like let's say you have something traumatic or someone's yelling at you, it's got to affect your brainwaves and it's got to kind of take you to a place that's probably not positive for you, right? Okay, here we go. Beta. Beta is higher levels, high frequency waves found while you're awake, humans, conscious states, cognitive reasoning, reading, speaking, thinking. So right now we're probably operating on beta. Hey, Bob Harding. I did a sleep study for 20 days and the whole time I spent 19 minutes in delta, but I have TBI from concussions. I can meditate easily though. Really? So you said you were at delta, and we said delta is deep, dreamless. Okay, so you're having dreams. You know, when I operate on delta is when I'm really tired. Like over the weekend, I was so busy Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, I slept 12 hours. I woke up once and I slept 12 hours. And I didn't have any dreams. So I must have been operating on delta brainwaves. Okay, so last but not least, gamma. Higher levels, fastest brainwaves, 40 to 100 hertz, process complex tasks, learning, memory, meditation, completeness. Interesting, isn't it? Okay, now, and that's gamma. So beta waves increase with apparently a lot of caffeine. And if you want to get stuff done, it operates on 12 to 40 hertz. Optimal focus, strong memory. Now, beta, it says we are awake and alert on beta. Alpha, it says that we are relaxed, eyes closed, meditation. Theta, transition, waking from sleep, and delta, state of deep sleep. So what I imagine here is, what I want to say here is I think the best way probably to increase your brain waves would probably be through meditation and exercise. Meditation increases your alpha waves, relaxation, thought and learning, deep breathing, visualizations, and it's naturally an antidepressant. I don't know if everyone knows that. And I want to say before we get on to binaural beats, I'm going to talk about that for a second. So electromagnetic signals that come from our cell phones, I don't have my cell phone right here just to show you, but our cell phone is giving off electromagnetic signals, which are affecting our brainwaves. So be aware of that and our behavior. Electrical signals between neurons generate electric fields that radiate out of brain tissue as electrical waves that can be picked up by electrodes touching at a person's scalp. So do the electrical signals from the phone affect you? Yes, they do. And it's recommended not to look at your phone an hour before you go to sleep because it will prevent you from falling asleep. Now, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you look at your phone, it's definitely going to affect you falling asleep. So be aware of that. They said that a Nokia 6110 cell phone strapped to a person's head, they utilized some EKG equipment, and it showed that the cell phone was transmitting alpha waves to the person's brain. So that was alpha right here. Okay. Alpha waves altered the state of consciousness. The cell phone affects the brain waves an hour after shut off. Awake twice as long. So just be aware of that. These are suggestions. And why am I saying this? Because I'm all about helping and healing, and I'm hoping that you are okay, and I want good things for you. Also, the fact that we are penetrating into this newer consciousness, this awareness. We are becoming awake. We are questioning what's going on out in the physical reality. Hopefully, we are turning inward and we're learning a little bit more about ourselves. And the first step to practicing and learning about your knowing, your sixth sense, your telepathy, your clairsenses is going to be something as boring as relaxation, is focusing on your breath. And I'm bringing this up because I'm doing these videos right now. And I decided to start with the basics of extrasensory perception. Because if we jump over the basics, I don't know if everyone's going to understand how important it is, because we are going to be operating, all of us together. You know, me to little puppy dog Elsa, to the tree, to maybe you. And we are going to be passing thoughts among us. And we are going to be operating on the same consciousness. We are going to be hearing things through our clairsenses. And I'm learning right now by practicing my clairsenses, my clairaudience. And I've spoken to you about that, listening beyond the walls of the room and turning off your electronics. Doing the little steps of relaxing, closing your eyes, dropping down into your vessel, letting out a breath, doing inhales and exhales, and then listening beyond the walls of the room. Before you know it, you're going to be able to hear other dimensions, and you're going to be able to hear frequencies. And when you tune into that frequency, you'll be able to hear other beings communicating on that frequency. And let me just share with you, it's possible because I can hear other beings, other species communications because I'm listening to another frequency. You can adapt to it. You can change what you are hearing. So just be aware. Okay, now binaural beats. Binaural beats are when you take two separate sounds, two different tones, and you put them one in each ear, and it changes your mood. You can train your brain waves to specific frequency. It's pretty exciting. Binaural beats are two different sound frequencies. And you can have, for example, the delta binaural beat, or the alpha binaural beat. Now, why? Because this can help change some of your stress. It can give you help with if you're having relationship issues, financial problems, if you're over busy, maybe you have life changes you're going through, maybe you have internal stress, self issues generated, basically an inability to help to accept uncertainty, unrealistic expectations. Binaural beats are really that helpful. I'm going to try it myself. It can help with pessimism and negative self-talk. Now, you might be going through something that you have lack of assertiveness, where you are not able to, and it can be after a period of time, we can be experiencing someone that's constantly telling us what to do. Now, maybe this occurs in your life, in a relationship, in your workplace, your career. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe you just grew up with that, and you have this imprint on you. And this imprint is caused from a life event. Now, you might have been around a parent or a relative, someone that is constantly telling you what to do, so you lack assertiveness. And that's going to be something that you're going to have to gain. You're going to have to realize that yourself, because if you're not assertive, you're going to be following the masses. You're not going to be able to so easily to tune inward. You're going to have a lot of doubt. So we want to begin to realize that we can say affirmations like, I am brave, I am courageous. It might be, I love myself, I accept myself. You create your own affirmation. Maybe it's a mantra. You might be someone that has to do its emotional freedom technique, where you tap and you're tapping, right? And I think it's like, I love myself, I accept myself. I love myself, I accept myself. It's 2 fingers, that's right. You might be doing this. I love myself, I accept myself. If you look it up, emotional freedom technique, if you need to do that, there's different locations. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. And you say affirmations, I love myself, I accept myself. Because the only way for you to be helped is not by out here, it's by in here. It's helping you. You must help yourself. And if you're not assertive and you don't have self-confidence, you're not going to be able to do the telepathy. You're not going to be able to do the psychic phenomenon, because it takes a point in which you believe in yourself and you trust yourself. And when we accept all of our gifts, you have gifts, you're highly advanced. When you accept all of your gifts, you will realize that you will blossom and you will be this amazing creature. There are gifts within you. Your DNA is just coming to light. It was not nurtured. It's been dormant. So together we are going to be realizing our truest gifts and abilities. We have characteristics that we don't even realize. And that's what the 5th dimension is all about. And it is about the corny stuff about love, and it's about peace, and it's about harmony and personal. It's about personal, personal harmony and happiness. And that's what it's about. So we want to help ourselves. We want to walk with less judgment. I'm hoping that you're going to have less judgment about yourself. Forget about the shame. Now you can say, oh, I'm not proud of something I did. And then you can push it away. Hey, Elsa, come over here. You want to come over here? What's going on? Come over here, Elsa. You want to come over here? You okay? We have less judgment for ourselves. And that might be, you have to, maybe you come up with a list. I always like writing things down. You know that about me, because I like to see it. I like to have something concrete. Sometimes when I think about it, it's not as big as writing it down. Writing it down is a commitment, because you're saying, yep, I did this. And it might be something you're shameful of. You want to have less judgment, but to get through that, you have to admit what you've done. Now, we can't always be proud of everything. Maybe it's not as big a deal as you thought. It might have been something that happened to you as a child and you were like, oh, I'm so embarrassed about that. And when you look at it on it, you write it down, you say, you know what? It's maybe not that big a deal and you can get through it. And that's how you're going to activate your light codes. Another way to help yourself is simply take a shower. Go take a shower and breathe. You know, water is sacred. Water is beautiful. If you realize the essence of water and how much it can help you and cleanse your spirit, it's lovely. And also be present doing mundane tasks. Instead of just going through tasks without realizing, really realize what you're doing. And don't I'm trying to say is like spark the light inside of you and maybe look at things from a different perspective instead of being bored. You know, we might become bored doing the same things over. Do it a different way. Drive a different way to work or wherever you're going. Visit different people. Try something new. Remind yourself of your 10 humongous goals. What are they? What are your humongous goals? It's not going to happen in 20 years or 30 years. We want everything right here, right now. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't care about last week or 5 minutes before. We have to live in this moment. And then also meditate. Try meditating. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Write in the chat. Tell me where you're coming from. A lot of you've been around for a while. I've been doing these videos for a year now. We passed the year mark. I've been doing them. I start out doing them almost every day. And then that job in the Matrix took over. And now I have 3 jobs in the Matrix. But that's okay. I'm getting my bills paid. And I'm surviving. We want to be survivors of 2023 and survivors of 2024. Are you a survivor? Let me remind you about angels. Angels are beings of light. They come from the heavens to earth. They're here to protect humanity. They ascend and descend on a staircase from heaven. Maybe you might get what's called divine intervention. And there's something harmful or dangerous that's about to happen to you, and there's a whisper in your ear, and you jump out of the way, or a message gets dropped into your brain. Maybe you see a little speckle of light out of the corner of your eye or a brush across your face, and that's an angel. Maybe you'll dream about angels. There's some very famous, very, very famous and extraordinary angels. There's Archangel Michael and Gabriel. And there's many others. And there's 9 ranks of angels. And we all have 2 guardian angels that are with us from the time we are born. Now, we can ask for angels to come into our existence. I speak to angels before I go to sleep. I also have activated my 3rd eye, my mind's eye, my 3rd eye chakra. And I see from time to time angels. And I'll tell you, over the weekend, I was going through some kind of weird slump. I don't know if you experienced this. Not survivors, thrivers. I love that. Over the weekend, I have to tell you, something weird happened to me. Weird. Personal experience, personal story. Now, we know that we're in Mercury in retrograde. I think it's sometime around the 12th or 14th of September. It goes till, and also we have this super blue moon. Well, it was so weird. I just felt like I was popping out of my skin. I know it's a time of release, but I felt really uneasy. And it was almost like I couldn't ground myself. I felt really strange. And I realized I wasn't the only one who felt this way. And I had some weird dreams. And I was kind of overwhelmed. And I was actually losing some of my self-confidence. And I was doubting myself. And I think that I was in the middle of a transition, because when I came out of it, everything seemed to fall back into place. However, it was like a new version of me. I don't know if you've had that experience, a new version of me. And I said to myself, you know what? I think what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to go back to the way things were. And things have changed. They've altered. They've transformed. So what do I have to do? I have to go with the flow. Even if I hate what the flow is, I said I have to go with the flow. What is the flow? So I decided to accept. I said I'm going to accept, even though I don't want to do the stuff that I have to do. I wanted to go back to the way it was. But you know what? That's growth. So I don't know if you had that kind of experience over the weekend. It was very, very strange for me. Okay, so before we get on to the next topic, let me just finish binaural beats. It's an illusion created by the brain when you listen to two tones with two slightly different frequencies. And I'm going to hold this up one more time so you have a visual. Your brain interprets two tones as a beat of its own. The two tones align with your brain waves to produce a beat with a different frequency. Isn't it kind of extraordinary? Let's look into this. When you listen to binaural beats, your brain activity matches the frequency set by the frequency of the beat. Now, I did look on some of the YouTube and I found binaural beats on the YouTube. So you can literally find a video with it. When two tones of slightly different frequencies are played in separate ears simultaneously, headphones, the human brain perceives the creation of a new third tone, equivalent to the difference between the two tones. For example, if one ear is 405 hertz and the other is 415 hertz, then the binaural beats is of 10 hertz, which would be 10 hertz. What did I say? 10 hertz would be theta, alpha, it would be alpha. So alpha is between consciousness and subconsciousness, and it can help promote calmness. There you go. Now, binaural beats will increase focus, help sleep and relaxation. So maybe it's something that you listen to before you go to sleep, boost mood and lower stress. Alrighty then, moving on. Now, this is some crazy, crazy stuff that I'm about to get into. And I kind of dug myself in a little deeply today because I have quite a bit to talk about. Now, I don't have a picture here. I can pull it up because it's a little crazy. All right, so Human Genome Project. I don't know if anyone knows what that is. The Human Genome Project. This was, of course, conducted by scientists. Now, I don't know if these scientists are all doing such good things because they are doing with the, I guess you could say, the plan to create cloning and experimentation. What they did was, it was allegedly one of the greatest scientific studies, and they were decoding human DNA. And how did they do this? Well, they started this in 1990 of October. They launched this project, Human Genome, Genome, Genome project. And it was an international, you can look it up, scientific research project determining the base pairs that make up the human DNA. Now, why would they do this? Well, they say it's for the good of humanity, but I don't know if I believe that because you know that I don't believe everything at face value, and it sounds a little suspicious to me because what is the purpose of this? They can say, oh, well, we wanted to be able to recreate certain organs for organs transplants, or it's for the good of humanity. However, I am going to get into what I believe some of it has been used for. Okay, so human genome is a complete set of nucleic acid sequences for humans encoded as DNA within the 23 chromosome pairs in cell nuclei. That's the scientific explanation, including the coding of regions in DNA which encode all the genes. So they're basically taking, what they did was, let me find a little picture. They took, here's the little wanted 20, they had 20 volunteers. Can you see that? Wanted 20 volunteers. This was in Albany, New York, and they got 20 volunteers. And what did they do? They were from New York, Buffalo, New York. 93% from 11 donors and 70% from one donor. And this took 1,000 researchers, and it involved researchers from 20 separate nations: the UK, the USA, France, Germany, Japan, China, et cetera, et cetera. And what did they do? They recruited volunteers, and they informed consent, blood samples, blood donors, and they wanted the DNA sequencing involved, determining the exact order of the bases in DNA. So they could break down our DNA. Why? Why did they do this? Because they wanted the answers of what our DNA is made up of. And I'm not really 100% sure what was the method behind their madness. However, I'm going to get into cloning in just a second, because that to me might have been one of the reasons why they did this, was because they wanted to be able to clone. They wanted to be able to recreate. And they also did some really weird and strange experiments since then. So with the scientific decoding of human DNA, cloning, the process of creating cloned organisms of cells. So do I have a picture? Well, here's like a little out there photo, and I'm going to hold this up just because it gives you some kind of visual. Scientists use cells and DNA fragments to make exact genetic copies of living things. Genes, cells, tissues, and whole animals are cloned. There is a cloning center, human cloning, producing a genetic copy of existing person using somatic cells. They're able to find living cells in a body that's dead up to 4 months. I don't know if you know this. Music, what do you think? Plus, they could potentially clone anyone tested and right. Well, there's actually, I'm going to get into a place called CloneAid. Human cloning, there's the Center for Genetics and Society producing a genetic copy of existing person. Cell nuclear transfer. So we all have heard about Dolly the sheep in 1996. Now, I had done a video way back when in the last year about cloning, and I spoke about the very simple organisms that they started with to clone. And they started with cloning, I don't even remember, it wasn't mammals or anything, it was, I think, insects. They initially started cloning very basic. And then they went on and they cloned Dolly the sheep in 1996. They have since, and if you look online, you can find some of these cloning centers. And I don't believe that everything is shown to us. I believe that there are centers that they're not telling us about. So there is a center that you can find. It was founded in 1997 called CloneAid, and it is a pioneer for human cloning. They cloned the first baby, Eve, in 2002. So this was founded in 1996. Now, I don't know if you believe that this is morally correct. I don't believe that it's okay to clone. They can actually clone a person that's living right now. And it's interesting what the headlines say on this website. It says, Eve, the first baby cloned December 26, 2002. And if you are sterile and you've lost hope of having a baby, you can clone. If you're lost or about to lose a family member and you'd like to see an identical twin, you can clone them. If you want to be cloned. So how do they do this? Therapeutic cloning enables the creation of embryonic stem cells. So the founder of this CloneAid is this woman, and her name is Dr. Bridget Bolzier, and she is, she originally had her business in the Bahamas, but they banned it, and now she is someplace where it is legal to have a cloning center. I couldn't find where that was. Now, from there, I realized that things kind of got out of hand, because then they went on to, and I saw online on some of these social media platforms, I saw some pictures and videos and I found them very disturbing. Now, why am I talking about this? Am I talking about this to freak you out? Well, when I first saw it, it did freak me out a little bit. I'm not trying to put fear. I'm just trying to bring awareness to what's going on out there. They have been doing some experiments about slicing human DNA and mixing them with animals. They have created a human pig where they had a hybrid and it was created in a lab, and they took grown human cells and put them inside pig embryos in a lab, and they created a pig human hybrid, and they are called interspecies chimeras. Researchers in US injected 150 embryo chimeras. 10,000 of the hybrid cells were human, to lab grown for transplants. Really? I don't think so. It sounds creepy. Now, I've mentioned the Dumb's tunnels, and apparently they had been doing experiments down in the Dumb's tunnels with humans and different animals, and so that was the first experiment. Now, we know there's other experiments. They're just not telling us, but these are the ones that I could find by doing a little bit of down the rabbit hole, because I feel like I'm a little bit of Alice in Wonderland. Down the white rabbit goes down the hole. 2, they were mixing species. And this is kind of cockeyed to me. They're mixing species, rat stem cells into mice. And then the third one, human stem cells to embryonic pig cells, and then adding embryonic cow cells. So they're developing this in a pig's uterus. Now, this is really insane stuff. What does this say? They did this thousands of years ago in the Atlantis. This is nothing new. Really? In Atlantis they did this? The potential. They did this in Atlantis? Really? I didn't know that. So they also have done what they're finding is there's more than one. So it's more than one distinct genotype. Animals and humans, there's female and male sex organs. They also have been mixing pigs and monkeys, or chimps, you could call them, and humans and monkeys. Now, to me, this is so unsettling because I saw some pictures and I'm horrified, because this being, this entity, this like human thing, this creature, it breaks my heart that how is it feeling? Does it have a soul? It's trapped. It's not normal. It's crazy. Like, I think that whatever scientist is doing this, this is against the normal laws of the universe. This should not be going on. I can't even tell you how emotional I get that this kind of experiments are going on. Fawns, minotaurs, mermaids. Wow. Okay, so I didn't know that. So they've been mixing. And, to me, I'm going to get onto it. I'm going to get onto the sinister plot and then talk about how we're going to a really good place. I'm going to move into something positive. Before I get into that, I'm going to remind you, let's see, I'm going to show you like this little chart about crystals and how crystals are really positive for us. I'm going to hold up some crystals right now. I don't know if you have any. Hold on, let me just get some. Wait 1 second. Because I have so many. Okay, these are clear crystal quartz. I don't know if you could see it. Yes. And every single one of the crystals, if you get a crystal, a tumbled stone, you will find that they are helpful because they each have healing benefits. For example, this clear crystal quartz gives balance, abundance, wealth, and prosperity. Now, I have a whole big, huge container by my bed you want to do is when you get any clear crystal quartz, whatever, maybe you'll get rose quartz, maybe you get black obsidian, amazonite, there's all different types. You want to wash them with warm water, lay them out in the sunlight, and maybe you want to put them on one of your chakras, and maybe you put them on your mind's eye, your third eye chakra, maybe your throat chakra. Because when we have if we have our chakras blocked in any way, it can prevent us from reaching our fullest potential and our destiny. All right, let me get on to the sinister plot. Now, oh wow, you're really writing a lot. This is part of the reason why okay. So anybody who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel and write in the chat. What was I going to say? I'm going to talk right now about the sinister plot. And what am I referring to? Well, it seems to me it's surfacing more and more every day, the truth of what's been going on in our society and our culture. And there has been this battle between good and evil, and evil has really risen up and is showing itself. And if you are someone who watches the mainstream media, you will be brainwashed and you will have some form of mind control. And that will happen because it's over and over repetitive. You believe that whoever's on the television is a person of authority. So you follow or want to believe everything they say, but every single thing that's in our media, whether it be a newspaper or the television on the mainstream media, is going to be propaganda. It's paid programming. It's all decided by the government what we are supposed to be knowing and believing. So just pay attention to that. So the sinister plot, they're threatening harm and evil, and they're causing misfortune. Now we know about what happened in Hawaii a few weeks ago, and how now they've put up this wall around it, and they are, even the residents, telling them that they are no longer to be on their property. There are homes that are burned down. They were given $700. I saw this video with Oprah and The Rock, and they were asking for everyone to donate. Meanwhile, they're billionaires. So a sinister plot is basically a plot to harm. And I believe that we have been living in a world that there has been this plot, this grand plan, this scheme, and we have been, I guess you could say, tricked. However, now here comes the good part. Foolishly, evil has never had a chance against light and love and the world with the angels and God and the heavens. Now, the world is a contrived, sinister plot, and only now do we realize the truth. Are you awakened? Have you awakened to this other reality? Have you climbed out of the matrix? Have you taken the blindfold off and you've realized that there is another world out there? There's another possibility. You can tune inward. You can find love in your heart. You can have forgiveness. It all is just creating a new mindset, a new consciousness. It's about cutting off any attachments that you have. These thought attachments that you've been carrying around, are they all your own thoughts? How many thoughts a day are yours, and how many are those that you've had from repeatedly hearing the same thing over and over again? Maybe it's from someone else. Maybe it's from someone in your workplace, the television, maybe in your community. Why don't you just turn everything off? Go to a place of quiet and start to discover exactly what's going on within you. We are awakening. We are ascending. We all have a chance now to become ourselves, to learn about our inner wisdom that we have and the love that we have within our hearts, okay? We can reach a higher consciousness together. Evil remaining in the world is simply there. It's a catalyst to, yes, I agree with you. Another sign of waking up. Yes, 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 Matt. Yes, music. So we don't even know really the history of the earth. It's all becoming obvious to us that we have not been told the truth. Now we know there's all these very strange weather events going on, and there's what's called HARP, and it's geomagnetic controlling the weather. They can change the weather. Look up HARP, HAARP. Look it up. They are altering the weather. And who do I mean by they? The government, whoever's running it. Now we've awakened from a deep sleep, and the light is revealing the plot. All of our lives has been meaningless without knowing what we have here. The history of the earth, each country, the reasons that we are supposed to be here. What is the meaning of life? What is your mission? You have to discover that. And when you awaken, you will start to see and realize who you exactly are. What is your mission? What are you supposed to be doing? Now you will receive divine wisdom. Allow it to take over today. We are spoken for by God, by the heavens, by the angels, by Jesus Christ. The greatest knowledge is within us, okay? God's source will give us courage. If you ask for it, ask for courage. Your heart, in your heart, you have love. We are going to do a little exercise in just a moment. So we're going to accept this powerful energy within us, aren't we? I'm asking you to accept what's within you. Now, in the beginning of this video, I spoke about having confidence, having assertiveness, believing in yourself. And it's time now. We can no longer be complacent. We have to accept all the power within us. And we are going to join together. We are going to join and have unity and oneness. Now, before that happens, you're going to have to, on your own, rise up. If there's something that you don't agree with, say no. You don't have to agree. You don't have to say yes if you don't believe whatever's being asked of you. You have what's called free will. You are a sovereign being of light. So you're going to accept your powerful energy within you. Now, where is that? It's in your inner life. It's within you. It's not out here. It's not out here. Doesn't matter what you have, what you look like, what you do. Doesn't matter. It matters what's in you. Your DNA is the gold. You have it within you. So we're going to accept this. You're not going to give up on yourself, are you? You're going to believe in yourself, and you're going to believe, because the more that you believe, it's going to reveal the civilization that we are returning to. Our strength is going to create the civilization. My words, your words. This higher consciousness is creating it. The earth is joining with us. Now you have inner qualities, you have good sense, you have knowledge. This is the highest form of spiritual knowing that is within you. Right. All right, so your pure knowing is your intuition. So you must trust yourself, trust your knowing that's within you. Now, the wisdom is not dependent on reasoning. You just know. Now, I don't know if you go into a sleep at night and you realize something that you don't in your waking life. And that might be one of the explanations to why I believe in keeping track of your dreams, because there's knowledge within you when you're sleeping that comes forward. Now, you are operating on a certain vibrational frequency. So whatever comes to you is meant for you. Just like when you receive a flash of information, it's going to feel physical with your clairsenses, isn't it? When we practice psychic phenomenon, it feels something different. It's hard to hold on to. I know that. It's hard to stay in that wherever you're receiving the information. It's hard to stay focused because it just feels uncomfortable. The more you practice psychic phenomenon, the more comfortable you will feel. Now we have divine essence, and it is a pathway of light inward. We can go within and we can reach a higher consciousness. We have a deep connection with ourselves and all of the energy around us, whether you realize it or not. There's a lot here. We have wisdom, we have knowing, we have divine wisdom within us. You just have to accept it. Now, how are we going to get there? How are we going to activate some of this? Through acts of kindness, through meditation, treating others with respect, putting the needs of others ahead of ourselves, and having a commitment to do the right thing. If we do the right thing, it will change everything. It will get rid of your karmic debt. It will help you realize exactly who you are. You will see clearly exactly what your mission is. All right, so let's do some psychic phenomenon. I want to remind you that when you stay focused on the psychic phenomenon, and even if you're practicing beyond the video with me, and I said to you last week, can you practice on your own? Practice the psychic phenomenon on your own, because at some point you're going to have to be doing that. Now, a good thing about it is, if you have a question, like let's say you're questioning, you have a gut feeling, and you're receiving some kind of weird vibes from somebody you know. You sense there's something that's off. You can literally check with your psychic phenomenon and get an answer. It's not through our thoughts, it's just through our senses, isn't it? Our smell, our taste, our, Elsa just went over there to get a drink. Our clairvoyance, our clairaudience, our hearing, our clairsustenance, our feeling, our claircognizance, our knowing. You can do all of the steps that we go through and give the suggestion of someone or something, and you can receive information. So you can practice it on your own. Okay, so let's do something. Let's do something together. Let's do some psychic phenomenon. All right, so everyone, I'd like you to let out a breath. It's a long day coming back from a weekend, a vacay, the summer, moving into the fall, September. Even if you're in a state or a country that is warm, it still feels like a transition because everyone's going back to work, going back to school. It's not fun, is it? We kind of want to stay in the mode, like I said, we want to stay in the mode of where we were. We don't necessarily want to go into back to work. We do have to pay our bills. As long as the matrix is existing, we have to pay our bills. When all of that leaves and we're into this fifth dimension, 100%, we won't have to be doing that. We'll be seeing foliage in the middle of the streets. All of the high rises will be empty. We'll be practicing joy and peace, and we will be on a different mission. Maybe we will be all telepathic, telekinesis. We will be teleporting. We will be going through time travel, whatever it is, off planet. We will be traveling in these flying cars. Have you seen those? I saw they're practicing with flying cars or doing a little sample experiment over the weekend. I saw that. All right, so let's do the psychic phenomenon. So we're going to let out a breath, and we're going to relax. We're going to let go of any tension that we have in our arms, our legs, our physical body, right? And we're going to just be like a rag doll. Maybe a jellyfish. So we're going to let go of any tension, let it seep through our fingertips. And we're going to push away any thoughts, aren't we? We're going to remind ourselves to take away any doubt, because we are capable of doing this. We are capable of tuning into our senses. So we're pushing away any doubt, pushing away our thoughts, and we're going to focus on our breath right now, aren't we? We're going to inhale and exhale 3 times together, and we're going to just let go of any tension. We're going to remind ourselves to put all our weight in our bottoms, plant our feet firmly in the earth, so we're imagining them deeply in the earth, and we're also being in this moment, gratitude in this moment. There's a lot to remember, I know. However, when you do all of the steps, it will equal information. Okay, so let's do some breathing. All right, so hopefully you're a little bit more calmer. And now I'd like you to just drop down into your physical vessel and have some concentration. You're relaxed. You're focused. Now I'd like you to tune into your hearing. We're just doing a quick check. So you're listening beyond the walls of the room or wherever you are. You're just focusing on listening. You're hearing. And maybe you're going to hear like I'm hearing outside the window. Maybe you're going to hear something in the room. Maybe you're going to really hear something beyond. Maybe you'll hear water in the distance. Whatever it is, you're just tuning in. Taking away any thoughts. Remind yourself to do that. You're hearing. Okay, and then you're going to activate or remind yourself about your clairvoyance, your mind's eye. Now maybe this is already open and you can see in another realm. Right now I see in another realm, and as soon as I do that, every time I always see this white fence. It looks like it's out in the country somewhere. It's these wooden beams, this white fence, and usually there's some kind of animals in the background. I don't know what you see. And in the past, I saw it an angel realm. Now, if you're not activated in your third eye, you can tap, you can move in a circle, you can ask to be activated. Maybe you're going to put a gemstone. You might close your eyes and you see light, a circle of light right here between your 2 eyebrows, and that's your third eye. All right, so what do you see if that's activated? Okay, now you're going to just check your feeling. And usually throughout the video, I ask you, what are you feeling? And I didn't ask you today. Well, I'm going to ask you now. Tune into your heart and what emotion comes forward. Pick one emotion. So you're going to tune in. Now, maybe it's not that easy and you say, oh, I don't have an answer for that. So you have to keep trying until you do. And don't pressure yourself. Maybe it'll come later. But the closer you are to recognizing your emotions, the closer you will be able to tune into your inner life. So I'm going to tune into my heart, and what am I feeling right now? I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety, I have to say. I'm feeling a little bit uneasy, and that's the truth. And that's what I feel. All right, so now let's choose one of our clear senses. Now, maybe it's your smell, maybe it's your taste, maybe it's your sense of touch. Maybe it's one of the 3 that we just went through. You can put all of these together if you're super, super focused. And if not, let's just choose one of them. So remind yourself to drop down into your physical vessel. You're relaxing, and I'm going to give a suggestion. Now, I'm going to focus on my hearing. I'm going to focus on my hearing and my clear sense of feeling and hearing, feeling and hearing. And my suggestion today is, if you could have anyone in your life, who would it be? If you could have anyone in your life, who would it be? Now focus on one of your clear senses to receive the information. Now it's going to come through as a sensation, a visual, maybe an image, maybe a sound. You're going to hear someone's voice. There's an array of different possibilities. Maybe you'll be taken to a location. Okay, so choose one or two of your clear senses, or even three, right? If you could meet anyone, who would it be? Okay, so I got a mixed bag there. First, I got a voice, and then I was trying to decipher who that was. And I felt like I was taking too long, so I kind of have to go back to that on my own. But I don't know if you received anything. Did you receive someone came through to you, whoever that is? Now, I want to remind you, whenever you do your telepathy or whenever you practice with your clairsenses, you might have a different result. It's not going to be the same. You have to remind yourself that there's no proof. You take away any doubt, you're going to receive more information. So maybe you'll go into a trance. Maybe you'll channel someone. You might receive, like, I'll tell you what I saw. So I heard this man's voice, an elderly man. And then I said, my thoughts came in. Who is this? Who is this? And then I saw him in a hole, actually. Oh, now I know. It was my pop-up. Because he was buried. Interesting, right? All right, so that's the answer to that. Okay, everyone. Well, I'm gonna go now. Let's create a ball of light before we go. We rub our hands together. We take it away from our body, and hopefully you have some kind of feeling on your hands. And you're gonna make a ball of light. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring it all around you, because when you create a ball of light, that was a very intense sensation that I received when I practiced that. Okay, so you want to bring ball of light around you because it is a ball of energy and it's positive. Now maybe you could close your eyes and you're going to imagine yourself inside the ball of light or standing outside the ball of light. So let's do that right now. What are we going to choose? Or maybe we are holding the ball of light and let's see if it takes us somewhere. So I'm going to close my eyes. I'm holding the ball of light. It feels very powerful in my hands, my palm of my hands. And I'm going to say this ball of light is going to take me somewhere. That's my suggestion. And I'm taking away any thoughts. Okay, so interesting. So the ball of light brought me to a place and I heard freedom and hope. So I believe that that's very positive. So the ball of light will bring us freedom and hope. All right, everyone. Well, I'm rubbing my hands together. I'm going to circle light around you. You're in the center of it and you're making a wish. I want good things for you. And I'm going to spin light 1, 2, 3 times around you. And then 1, 2, I'm creating a Merkaba 3 times around you, and you're spinning in the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3. It's a band of light, and I can see it, and I'm moving it, and I'm sending it to you, and I want good things for you. So today we spoke about brainwaves. We spoke about sinister plot. We spoke about the Human Genome Project. And I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I want you to, I would really like you to practice your psychic phenomenon, because that's where the world is going. We are all going to be telepathic pretty soon. Thank you, everyone. Everyone have a good night. And I hope you like the video and subscribe. And I'll be back another time this week. I promise you. I already have another show ready to go. Okay, be well. Bye.